Hello. So, I have asked ChatGPT to give me true survival stories that are just wild. I have not pre-read these, so I will be reacting real time as I read them and discovering commentary on them, all that stuff. So, let's get into this one. It is called The Real Life Castaway. How one man survived 438 days at sea. What? I'm trying to remember in Castaway how long he was supposedly gone. I think it was a couple of years. That is unbelievable. Okay, well, let's get into this one. Most people know Castaway with Tom Hanks, right? Lost at Sea, Volleyball Friend, Built a Raft, great movie. But what if I told you there's a true story that makes this movie look like a vacation? This is the true story of José Salvador Alvarenga. Sorry if I mispronounced that. The man who survived 438 days lost at sea. Jose was a fisherman from El Salvador living in Mexico. In November 2012, this was like a couple of years ago. I mean, relatively speaking, a couple of years ago, he set out on a routine shark fishing trip off the Pacific coast of Mexico. Shark fishing trip? People just fish for sharks? I guess I just am not familiar with that because I never heard of shark fishing before. Cool, I guess it's normal. His boat was small, just 23 feet long, with a single outboard motor. That's wild because if they're shark fishing, I would think the boat would be bigger for that, but I guess it doesn't need to be. His companion, a young man named El Esquiel Cordoba. I'm so sorry. I'm probably butchering this name. Um, yeah. Okay. Someone he barely knew. The trip was supposed to last 2 days, but the ocean had other plans. Section 2 is called The Disaster. A massive storm rolled in, lasting for 5 days. Waves battered the boat. The motor was destroyed. The radio was useless. They were completely adrift. No steering, no sail, no hope of immediate rescue. No GPS, no navigation equipment, nothing but an open boat floating in the Pacific. Okay. Wow. So, huge storm. They already had a really tiny boat. And their motor was gone. That is unbelievable. That's already such a terrible situation. I'm sure they were already exhausted too. 5 days in a massive storm. I mean, it's one thing to be stressed and tense from the stress and that wearing on your body, but they probably also had a lot of physical things to deal with. You know, food and water, making sure that their boat didn't tip over. Maybe it did and they had to get back on. I don't know, but that is a lot to deal with for 5 days. Also, the Pacific Ocean is no joke. That is a huge ocean, so many dangers. You can really be so far out without any hope of any land for days, weeks, months, you name it. Okay, so how did he survive? So now here's the part that separates the survivors from the victims. They caught fish by hand and used empty water bottles to catch rainwater. Smart. Okay, that explains the water part. When the rain didn't come, they drank turtle blood. Turtle blood. Wow, okay. Or their own urine to stay hydrated. I have heard of the whole urine thing, but the turtle blood is new. Very interesting. They caught birds, turtles, and small fish, and they ate them raw. I mean, do what you gotta do to survive. It might not be tasty. Okay, so Jose even learned how to trap seabirds that landed on the boat, snapping their necks barehanded for food. Wow. I think that there's a movie scene with something like this, but I can't think of the movie right now. Because the movies that are coming to mind are Castaway, Life of Pi. I don't think it was Life of Pi. Yeah. So, I mean, that's smart. Um, After 4 months, his companion gave up. He refused to eat the raw meat. Oh, became sick and tragically died on the boat. Oh, that's rough. 4 months, though. We're 4 months in. He lost his will to live. I mean, he just was so done with it, it sounds like. Um, Jose, completely alone, pushed his companion's body overboard. Now it was just him in the endless Pacific Ocean. Okay, so get this, 438 days. That's over 14 months at sea. He drifted over 6,700 miles across the Pacific. To put that in perspective, that's like floating from New York to Turkey in a 23-foot boat alone. He faced shark attacks, sunburn, near starvation, and complete isolation. Most people would have lost their minds. Somehow he didn't. That's exactly what I was thinking. That long being alone, that would drive me insane so fast. I recently went on a car drive that was 12 hours, and I was by myself. Honestly, totally fine. Had a great time, mostly just listening to music, but more than anything, I just was in my own head, just thinking about things, whatever. I can keep myself entertained really well, but what kept me going was seeing those people at the end of the 12-hour drive. So I can't imagine 14 months. I mean, 10 of those months he was completely by himself, because it seemed like the 14 months, the 4 months was part of it with his companion. But also seeing your companion give up and die and you have to deal with that, that also would weigh in on the morale, I would think, because you're already doing your best to survive. The person who's in the exact same situation decides that they don't want to. So the internal motivation that he has to keep going and keep surviving, it's amazing. All right, on January 30, 2014, after more than 1 year at sea, Jose spotted land. It was a remote part of the Marshall Islands near Ebon Atoll. Local islanders found him wearing only ragged underwear, with a long beard and hair, barely able to walk. You know, the motion sickness would have, I mean, I've heard the term, land legs, all that, or sea legs. I think there's both. Maybe it's more of the sea legs part, but the balance part alone would be hard to deal with. I mean, if I'm on an airplane for an hour or two and I'm off, when I lay in bed, I feel as if I'm still on that airplane. So going 10 months, I bet it was very hard to feel like he was actually on solid ground. He was so dehydrated and malnourished that it is a miracle he survived. Doctors examined him and confirmed his unbelievable journey. His story checked out, supported by ocean currents, prevalent winds, and his own detailed knowledge of the survival at sea. So after recovering, Jose wrote a book titled 430 Days, which ChatGPT apparently highly recommends if you all want the full brutal details of what it's like to survive that long alone at sea. So it says, was there controversy? Sure. His companion's family tried to sue him, suspecting cannibalism. Oh my gosh. But the case was dismissed. Every expert analysis says that Jose's story was legit. Okay. Ooh. He now lives a quiet life away from the spotlight with one of the greatest survival stories ever recorded behind him. That's right, because it was 2012. Still blows my mind. I keep thinking, oh, this was probably in the 90s or what have you, but no, this wasn't that long ago. That's amazing. And then you have to deal with some people not believing you after all that. I just don't know how you return to daily life after something like that. Okay. 438 days at sea, no land, no help, no hope, but he made it. So, let me know in the comments, would you have survived? I know for a fact I would not have. I would have given up far before, shoot, I might have given up before the companion gave up. And I have, a family. They didn't mention these guys having a family, but yeah. I would also be curious, does he have a fear of oceans now? Or does he have peace with it because he knows what it's capable of? He knows he can survive fairly well? I don't know. Interesting. Yeah. So that's the survival story for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I found it very interesting, very wild. So yeah. All right. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks for listening in, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.